do this to their staff would be about £500,000 extra a year.
Mm-hmm.
So if you consider some of the salaries some of the people in there are getting, I don't think that's really much.
Right. You could get rid of one of the dopes and just cover it.
Well, I mean, there's a figure going round now which is absolutely staggering, which is that in the past 10 years we've paid our board over £25 million.
Jeez,
and I'd like to know what they've done for that, but that's another story. But clearly this would make Celtic the first team in the UK to do this, and we've always been a standard bearer, and it's about time. It's pretty shameful that the fans have actually got to campaign for this, and you could see at the last AGM, Ian Bankier just didn't have a clue. Didn't even know what the living wage was or anything like that. Was completely caught unaware by it. And hopefully this year they'll be ready and they'll be ready to implement it.
Here's hoping. So that's if anybody wants any more details on that, obviously Jeanette Finlay and the Celtic Trust is who should be your first port of call, Jason.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So and just probably while we're still on that kind of the charitable kind of stuff, some more housekeeping. Obviously we had the medical aid for Palestinians raffle, which raised a good few quid. The prizes have all been dealt with, Jason. They've all been sent out and everything.
The boys not received one of the tops that Joe was sending. So I don't know what's happening.
Joe was sending that back to Paul, I think, was he not?
No, to Jason.
Or to Jason?
I've not received anything.
He's probably not posted it yet. We'll sort that out.
Aye, the snooker queue, that's still to be delivered, but I'm in contact with the lad that is there, so I just need to make arrangements to drop that off. The Celtic Canvas app, the contact's been made and the guy's absolutely delighted with it. And the guy who won the Anthony Stokes boot, he's basically donated it back to us because it wasn't wanting a prize.
Yeah.
So maybe we should phone Stokes up and say we've got one of his boots, because he obviously only had one on yesterday. He was wearing it in his head, I think.
Right. Well, we'll get to that in the fullness of time. But we'll hang off with that, and we'll do some of that maybe later in the year.
Yep.
Just because we don't want to be sort of trying to get money at people all the time. Just as well on that, I've sent out the emails to everybody with the two books, with The Last Pearl Diver and the Talking to the Lost Boys. However, there was about a dozen to 15 names, I can't quite remember, who they weren't verified PayPal accounts. So by that, I didn't get their email addresses, Jason. So if you're listening to this and you haven't received the books via email, it's because I didn't have your email address, and I don't want to read out all the names because some people might want to remain private, whatever, the book tickets or whatever. So if you've not received an email with those books, just email me at homeboys@gmail.com and we'll sort that out straight away and you'll get that sent out to you. So that's just anybody who never got the books, just give us an email and we'll get them sent back. And another thing I suppose that we should touch on before we get into everything is I just hailhailmedia@gmail.com email account, right, has been lying sort of dormant for about a year. Basically since I changed my phone and I didn't add the Hail Hail Media Gmail back into my phone, and nobody's been checking that, and I actually just looked at it last week and there was, I don't know man, there's about 500 odd emails. So obviously a couple of people contacted us that RE or Mental Health podcast, and I felt really bad that they maybe thought we were ignoring them. I've replied now, but I just want anybody who's emailed at hailhailmedia@gmail.com with anything important in the last year, important, we weren't ignoring you. Really, if you want to, because just about all the emails were for us, they weren't really for any of the other shows. So if you want to contact us, it's homeboys@gmail.com. Because there was emails there, people offering to put on golf days for the Kano Foundation and stuff like that. So really feel bad if you think we were ignoring you. It's honest to God, we just weren't seeing those emails. So because everybody emails us at homeboys@gmail.com. So if anybody wants to get in contact with us about anything, homeboys@gmail.com, because there's just too many emails to go through and get back to everybody. But as I say, I covered the stuff for the last couple of months, and obviously the mental health podcast stuff. So I'm going to. I'll check the. I've got it on my phone now, and it'll be checked. It'll be kept in check from now on. But I think all the shows have their own email addresses. So if you want to contact a specific show that you listen to, it's probably just best to do that rather than the Hail Media. That fair enough?
Yep.
Right. So tonight's show, we are going to open up the phone lines tonight. HomeBhoys on Skype. You all know how to spell HomeBhoys by now. If you don't, we don't even want to hear from you. And we've all got a phone number. Jason, Glasgow landline number, which is...
Glasgow landline. Oh, damn, I've lost it. Give me a sec.
Jesus.
HomeBhoys, yep. 0141 356 7327. So that's 0141 356 7327.
And that
call it.
Obviously is a Glasgow landline number, so if you're calling that, it's only going to cost you, for wherever you are in the world, whatever it would cost to call Glasgow. So the lines are basically open. But where do you want to start? Obviously we've got to cover the weekend's game, Europe. We'll probably go into maybe some more stuff about the AGM coming up. I don't know, we just want to start the game, the weekend, or back to the European game, or where do you want to go, Paul?
I suppose we start with the European game, get that out of the way. Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I was pretty amazed we actually won the game, considering how...
You were there, yeah?
How many chances Dinamo Zagreb had and stuff like that. I was in the main stand, and I was quite close to where the Celtic dugout is. And it was so obvious to everybody in there that there was just no real continuity or camaraderie between the coaching staff. Collins and Dyler seemed to be at odds with everything, whereas Kennedy just had no input whatsoever. And I think, the first 15 minutes of the game, we effectively had 4 players up front, which I think Dino was a bit like, what the hell's going on here? Mm. We get the goal, great goal, fantastic link-up play, something that I would imagine they work on every day in training, and it comes off fantastic. But as soon as we retreated, they just really controlled the game, and I think were it not for Van Dijk, Denayer, and especially Craig Gordon, we would have got a severe pasting on Thursday. And it was pretty surreal to be coming out after winning a game, because even in Champions League, where we've won close games 1-0, I've never known us to be taken apart like that and still actually come out and win the game. And I think that's probably your difference between the Champions League and the Europa League. If that was a Champions League team with 8 chances, we would have been slaughtered, no question about it. So, pretty decent atmosphere there, although it's just horrible having this, everybody on the lower, nobody in the upper, things like that. Although it's still a pretty decent crowd, considering it was the biggest crowd in the Europa League that night.
It was, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it was a really, really poor performance, saved by Craig Gordon, effectively.
I think the first 15-20 minutes, we looked pretty good. I thought first 15, watching on TV, certainly. But we just started to get overrun in midfield, which, to be fair, is the story of our season. Now, I'll come to you, Declan. You're in your picture there, your picture with John Guidetti, who said he couldn't play because he's ineligible because he wasn't signed in time, obviously, because of the hiccup with his signing. I mean, so you were at the game. How, from a point of view, you're obviously buzzing. You're there as a guest of the club. You're on the park. Was there anything about that night that could bring you down, or were you still buzzing, or like the performance that bring you down? Or I mean, we still got the win at the end of the day. Like,
I think the first half it was a bit strange for me because I was waiting to go on, so I wasn't really taking it in as much as I would.
That's what I was wondering.
Take in a normal game. But just in the second half, I just thought there was no way we were going to hold out and get the win. I think and same as the other game, the away game at Salzburg, that we get the point. I think it's all down to Craig Gordon. Mm-hmm. He's the only one that's, a lot of people criticise the signing of him, but he's the only one that's actually looked as if he's doing anything at the moment. I think Stevie Wood seems to be the only one of the coaching staff that's actually
coaching anybody.
The job.
Jason, you were at the game as well.
Yeah.
I mean, what was the atmosphere like? I hate seeing Celtic Park like that. It's just, I mean, we spoke about it a few weeks back, and I was saying mean, if we've got all these season ticket holders, surely they're going to come out. And, I mean, it's only on BT. It's not on like normal council television, for want of better words. And I was hoping maybe there'd be a bigger gate than there was. I know it was still the biggest gate in the Europa League, but I mean, does that detract from it at all? Or I mean, what do you think?
I don't know. I thought the atmosphere was pretty good, to be honest with you.
Right.
And I think all the people that were there really wanted to be there. Do you know what I mean? Because it wasn't billed as being glamorous, but I mean, the Europa League gave us their best day ever when we went to Seville.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, so I'm certainly not going to downcry the tournament. As for the performance, I agree with Declan and Paul. I can't really believe we won. Although the goal was a thing of beauty, and the way Stokes, the way he delivered that ball to Commons and then put it away, that's like trademark stuff, absolutely brilliant. But especially the one in the remember the three defenders chased the ball, and then the guy was left out in the open, and what a save it was for Craig Gordon. But you're just saying to yourself, that's professional football players out there. You go to a primary school and they wouldn't act like that. And it's just, it's at times you just say, the team doesn't look as if they've got a clue what they're doing. It's very, very worrying.
To be fair, I mean, listen, we won the game. I don't think there's too much really can be said about that. I think we need to just get moving on to the bread and butter of the Premier League and start talking about that, where this team is in general this season, where the management is, and where their management's going to be. Yesterday's game, right? I never seen the first half, and that's something we'll talk about later. Celtic TV is an absolute disgrace at the minute. How the club are getting away with this, I'll never know. But we never managed to get tuned in till the start of the second half. So I never seen the first half. What I was told, it wasn't any different for the second half. But Jason, what the fuck has gone on, man?
I wish I had the answer, mate. I'm losing all confidence with Deila. The team's getting worse. There's no cohesion. They just don't know what they're doing out there. He plays a midfield too, Brown and Johansson. And Johansson is obviously very fit because he always comes into the game with about 10 minutes to go. He goes and mazy runs and stuff like that, but you're like, where has he been for the rest? Where's he been for the other 80 minutes? Scott Brown's trying to run a full midfield himself. That was actually, I know Ambrose, I'm not a fan at all. Probably that was one of his better games. Craig Gordon's been a revelation. But you look at that and he plays one up front. One up front against Hamilton Accies at home. That's unforgivable. I know he can say formations is effective in playing with four up front, but it's like one up front. If he's looked at any videos of Celtic last season, Anthony Stokes is a great second forward.
Yeah.
Gary Hooper wouldn't have got half his goals if it wasn't for Anthony Stokes.
The ball he laid on for Commons, for example, that's
Yeah.
Anthony Stokes all at the back. He's brilliant at that. There's not many players better at it. A weighted pass like that.
But if you're looking for Anthony Stokes to lead the line, which he happened to lead the line himself against Dinamo Zagreb, I couldn't believe that. But if you're looking for Stokes to lead the line himself, you can forget it. And yesterday, it's like, you think back to Neil Lennon when he was in the brink, when we were 3-0 down to Kilmarnock, and you say to yourself, could Ronnie Deila be 3-0?
Oh, fuck. Oh, I don't believe it. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right, I've managed to hang up everybody. Right, Alistair, you just blew me away there. Alistair just blew us off there.
So, you didn't add them to the call, you just...
I just answered, aye.
Is everybody back on?
Is everybody back, aye?
on.
Everybody's back.
So I was in mid-rant there,
Aye.
so... Where did I get to?
Kilmarnock getting beat 3-0.
Aye. So you say to yourself, could Ronnie Deila's Celtic team pull him out of hole? Well, I think your answer was yesterday. We were 1-0 down to Kilmarnock and they couldn't pull that back. They couldn't resurrect that against Kilmarnock. Taking nothing against Hamilton Accies. Taking nothing away from Hamilton Accies. They thoroughly deserved their win. They're excellent in the ball. That manager there has got them playing some great stuff. They should have took the lead in the first minute. But where Celtic are going at the minute, it's like a rudderless ship, and I've kind of lost I've lost all confidence in the management team, and I'm